there really isn't a past. A past is a mental idea, a memory of how this patterning universe appeared. And the human brain seems to it's got a very good pattern recognition tool. So it sees patterns in the changeable nature of this energy, this universe, and it sees the patterns and it sort of watches to see that repeating in different ways. And these patterns seem to be intelligently designed. They seem to have some laws, some mathematical, beautiful, creative laws to how things appear, how things interact in this universe. And so there can be sort of patterns of change that seem to come back with similarity. But that's really what time is. Repeatable patterns of change, or seemingly repeatable patterns of change that seem to happen before in the past. And when we see them through mental design and forecasting, we see them appearing in the future. But really, it's just pattern recognition in the brain, allocating them to a certain past and future, which really never existed. It's always now. It's always now with just patterns of change happening in form. This changeable, beautiful, changeable nature. If you looked at if you drilled right down to every single seemingly separate object, solid object, you would just see vibrating energy always changing, just always changing, always changing. A tree might take 100 years in what we call our time, but we've just made a little clock that has movement, and we count those movements. It's really always now. It's quite funny. And then we just get caught up in all of these stories. The primary story that everything is referenced from just doesn't really get a lot of attention because it's too unknowable. And if it's unknowable, we kind of turn a blind eye. So it's almost like the whole idea of the separate I is from turning a blind eye. Turning a blind eye to actually what that is, where that is. Is that a true thing? What exactly is it? It's kind of developed into an object, an essence of me, because the body seems separate, so we just lump it into that equation, that object is me. And whereabouts? Well, is it my hand, my heart? It's not any of these things, really. I am not any of these things. So then I becomes some sort of life force that is animating through this vessel. But then we need to still, for me, it seems beneficial to still look at what that I is. Even if we won't understand it completely, you can understand the things that you might have assumed that it was. And when they fall away because they're seen to be not true, what's left is this unknowable, changeable energy that is appearing this way as what I call I. Absolutely beautiful. And the essence and the feeling and the character of I, John, whatever, it doesn't go away. It just changes in perspective. The perspective of what that is just changes. And with that change, there is a freedom, there is a liberation that comes from not always self-referencing, more living life, living as the flow of life, interacting, rather than living as this separate object, John, that has to force its way through the world or go through the world, and it's all separate, because it's not. It's just life flowing through life.